Hello there, everyone. I'm heading to Minneapolis, where we are having riots there in Minneapolis, looting, burning of buildings, and destruction of property. Lots of demonstration. There is a lot of anger in our city right now, and we need instruments of peace. We need the Lord to make us instruments of His peace. Where there is violence and hatred, where there is anger, that we can speak peace. We have been talking with some of the leaders, even in our community, people in the police department, others in the political department, and we want to become bridge builders, and we want to be instruments of peace. Two wrongs cannot make right. I believe as we get out there and we begin to engage with pastors, political leaders, elected officials, people who are decision makers, we can get around those tables and begin to speak words of wisdom and hopefully bridges of peace. This community needs peace, and when this issue of the killing of George Floyd, when it becomes drowned with violence, the message of justice is lost. And we don't want that to happen. We want to make sure that we keep the main thing the main thing. The main thing is an injustice has happened, something has happened, it needs to be worked on, and it is opening wounds of past injustices and things that have not been forgiven and have not been forgotten, things that have not been dealt with, things that have not been addressed correctly. And this conversation needs to continue, and anything that would want to take away from the main thing should not be the main thing. The main thing is George Floyd has been killed. The main thing should be the main thing. It's not about people getting angry and burning buildings and looting property and endangering lives of people. That is not the main message that needs to come out of this conversation. This is a very difficult moment. I know it's an emotive moment. Emotions are high. But I pray God to make us instruments of peace. Churches and leaders of churches are here to build bridges, not to destroy bridges. We need to understand there's a tremendous amount of white people that are not represented in this crime. They are not part of that type of thinking that brought up this crime. And so what I'm saying is that what that police officer did does not speak and does not represent what other white people and other white police officers would do. So we need to make sure that this is contained and isolated to an individual and to the four officers, and who all of them are not white, by the way, but it needs to be isolated so that in the midst of our conversations, we can keep the main thing, and we can begin to deal with this issue that is a symptom of a larger issue of racism and all these racial inequalities, economic inequalities. There's a lot that goes into this conversation, and there is no one solution that fits all. This is a holistic issue that needs a holistic approach. We got economic issues, we got lack of education. The black man is at the bottom of the barrel on every demographic, and this is in terms of educational demographic. Racism is where more than just color of the skin is involved, but also there is other issues here that come along with the inequalities in the economic. And the problem of these inequalities is not one size fits all. There is we need to not forget there is also individual responsibility and personal responsibility to these matters. In a free country like America, there's a lot of freedoms that are there. And so we don't just have to push this whole blame on race and government and policies. There is also individual choices and decisions and individual responsibility. And so we need to calm down a little more. We need to go into a place where there's no strife, where we can talk to each other collectively and not talk over each other. It is important that the healing would begin, and the healing would go to deep cuts and deep woods. So I'll be seeing you live again from Minneapolis.